Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with an exciting race for the 2022 tournament. We are going to be watching two of the SMB3 greats taking on really an interesting seed, and we'll get to that here in just a minute. But I am Growlwolf. I'm on the commentary tonight. We have DLP316 taking on TrueHyperMario, both extremely well-seasoned veterans of the game. DLP's been in the randomizer scene for a few years now, and definitely shows it in his experience. And True Hyper Mario is a seasoned vanilla runner as well as a randomizer runner as well. So expecting a really good fight here out of the Group F that we've got tonight. Group F, as in finally, it's time for some SMB3 randomizer racing. So stay tuned for that. Our runners will be getting started here in just a moment, but I would like to mention the flag set that we're going to be running tonight. This is the traditional one for the tournament, actually. So 2022, they decided to shake it up just a little bit and change the way that the flag sets were run. So primarily, there's going to be one flag set, and that's Tourney Group 2, where the hammers don't break locks, and then if both players agree, the end card can be turned off. So if either player has a disagreement, it goes to the end cards being turned on. Kind of favor the newer players a little bit. I like the call. I think the admins of the tournament did a great job setting this up. Macobra, Pro A, there's several players involved there. So we are definitely interested to see what how this kind of plays out, see if it does favor the newbies a little bit better, maybe go after an in card, get stocked up on items early. That way you can play a little bit more aggressive and maybe try to really lessen the distance between the better runners. So I do like this call. I hope to see if it does play out in favor of maybe having a few shakeups, try to get people on their toes and really showcase the whole experience of the community. And I do apologize. We are having just a little bit of a delay. We have a discrepancy in the hash, and we are double checking the hashes here in just a little bit. We'll get started. So, anyway, great call out from Zero Wing in the chat. We have a mini game that we like to play getting started here, and that is guessing what the first world is. So, our runners are going to be starting here in just a moment. And get your guesses in as to what the first world is. If you want to guess the order, go right ahead, or just the first world, whichever you prefer. 1 through 7. Obviously, 8 is at the end. Now, the runners will be gearing up here in just a moment. They have been released. They will be counting their countdowns here momentarily, and then we will be getting started in this one of two races. So, this will be a back to back race, and the back to back is just the round robin. This is all part of the group stages. So DLP316 already took down another part of his group earlier. He took on. I was going to get that pulled up here real quick, act like I knew what I was doing. So he took on Wake 911 the other a couple days ago and ended up winning that one in 2-0. So I'm interested to see what happens here because this Group F is between DLP 316, the Bagler 5, True Hyper Mario, and Wake 911. So some pretty good names there. I would be a little surprised to see if somebody comes out of this completely undefeated. I could see a 5-1, I could see a 4-2 or 2. But I'm very curious to see what happens here because this is a very good Group F, and we're seeing that across the board. A lot of very familiar faces, a lot of familiar names, and we obviously are really excited about these new faces and everyone that we have here. So, yeah, I mean this Group F is going to come out to the wires, and it looks like we have just a little bit of a screen issue here. All right, we are just having a few technical difficulties here, but we will get this back up and running here in just a moment. Meanwhile, we do have TrueHyperMario currently in 7.5, having just a little bit of an issue there. All right, let's give it up for the fine folks of SpeedGaming. It looks like they've got that all taken care of. I tried to be clever and help out and get the cropping done early, but apparently I did something wrong. So SpeedGaming to save the day, and we do appreciate so much all that they have done for this tournament and just in general. If you aren't already following all of them, please do. You will not regret it. I promise you that. They're always putting on really fantastic content, a whole bunch of randomizers. I mean, if there's a randomizer that you want to get into, Speedy Gaming's probably got your back. So definitely check them out. Meanwhile, we've got DLP316 and TrueHyperMario duking it out in the first levels of a 2-game series. We're very excited to see how this race does turn out between the two runners. A little bit of a route discrepancy here. It looks like TrueHyperMario decided to go ahead and go down and around, whereas DLP316 is just doing his best to get straight to the castle. So we are going to have a 50-50 shot. Hammer does come up. Hammers will not break blocks, though, but we do have in-cards enabled. So interesting to see how this plays out for our runners. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of really item usage here. I think hammer suits are going to be a prime commodity. Stars, normally a pretty good way to start the levels out or keep yourself safe in a Hammer Brother fight, similar to the Siege Brother fight we just saw from DLP, who does get a star for his efforts. Now, TrueHyperMario about to find out the path that we want to know, and he does have the right one. So that is interesting. So that means TrueHyperMario does have to go through 7.5 again, this time equipped with a mushroom. DLP going through a hand stage. We'll figure out what the hand item will be. It is a star as well. Stars abound in this current race. Just absolutely stunning. And right now, DLP316 going to find out the hard way that the carpet fort is not the right fort. So this is going to be a bit of a time loss on the side of DLP. What a huge heads-up play for TrueHyperMario there. That is going to put him out of World 1 first, I would imagine, as DLP does have several more levels to play, as well as a fortress. So World 4, if you got World 4 in the initial guess, I was not paying attention, being a lousy host, I apologize. Oh, Kirby Fan 9000 looks like was absolutely accurate in that, so congratulations. It's time for a streak. We'll see if you can get it next one, which will be coming up here soon as TrueHyperMario does make it through 7.5. And does so without any issues, a slight risk of brush with death, I would say, as the sun does get awfully close at the very end there, but not a problem for TrueHyperMario. He is done and out. Meanwhile, DLP has one more level before he gets to the fortress, and TrueHyperMario has a couple of Hammer Brothers before he plays the castle, as well as one more level there. So going to be tight coming out of World 4, I think, even with that difference. I think an early death from TrueHyperMario does kind of offset what happened with DLP. So, we'll see what happens. And honestly, the biggest part of this is it does not matter until the big turtle falls at the end. So until Bowser falls, these runners can go back and forth, and they will, multiple times throughout this race, and most likely the next one. Like I said, these guys are really good, and they will be fighting for the top spot in Group F. And of course, they've got the Bagler as well that they'll have to go through, and Zero 911. I mean, they all have a lot of really good talent there, and we're excited to see what happens there. So stay tuned for sure. There are 44 runners in the tournament, and the top 22 will go on, as well as a couple of other wild cards. So that's going to be a big boost as well. Definitely interested to see how that works out for them. TrueHyperMario, the first into the airship. He is going to be burning through this, no problem at all. Equipped with that fire suit. We'll see if he goes for the fire kill there. It looks like he won't need to. One shot is all it takes, and he is now on to the next world. Get your guesses into chat what you think it is. I'm going to have to go with 1 here. We'll go back to the basic, see what happens. Star on the side of DLP316. That will ensure he gets through this part of Airship 2 very quickly and safely, and he is now into the fight with Iggy as well. 1 shot is all it takes. Very excited for, or DLP, I'm sure, very excited to see that, as he doesn't have to want to waste all extra time that he doesn't have to, that he would have lost from the fire kill. So no big loss there. TrueHyperMario stumbling onto a World 2 with 2 fortresses right out the gate, and 6F2 on the side is interesting. So he's got 2 fortresses at the beginning. He went off to 6F2, and I'm wondering if he thinks this is either going to break the lock or if he's hoping it does something on the other side. Because if there's a lock on the other side, it may or may not be in the way, and especially it's not. It's 3F1. But if this was 1F1 or 1 fortress, then that lock may be in the way, but would not prevent him from moving on. So a little bit of a gutsy call here. So it looks like DLP has found the one that will open up his initial path, and we'll have to wait and see what it does do for the other side. TrueHyperMario going for a door 3 skip will not make it. It is a frame perfect jump, so unfortunately he does have to go back and go the long way around here. Now DLP316 finds himself in a fight with a Fire Brother who is rewarded with a P-Wing, and I'm very curious to see how the map opens up here, and I bet he's going to go for a hammer play to help open up that path, and I think he will. So hammer's not going to be very useful except in 2, 3, 4, and 6. 4 obviously not really a big factor there. So 6 and 3 still have plays on the hammer as well, because they do not break the locks in this one. So a great play there. I think that was a really good heads-up play, and that is now DLP taking the lead as we are in World 2. So it's a randomizer. You don't always get everything randomized. But anyway, I am not a part of this tourney except helping run it. I've been helping to add different races and matches and stuff together in that regard on the site, as well as commentary. So no, I am not actively participating. I have a problem with internet, and unfortunately it's not good enough to stream. So nobody wants a slideshow of me playing SMB3 Randomizer badly, but I actually do have a technical reason. But I appreciate you asking. I would love to be a part of these one day. We'll see if that happens here at some point. Now, TrueHyperMario, the first into the castle once again, also playing very well, and he will be in the World 5 airship and will not be taking the P-Wing strats here, but we'll see if DLP is able to do that. TrueHyperMario just keeping himself safe as he does get into the fight here with Morton. They have like the same sprite, it's just one's got a different color. But Morton, not too bad. Looks like he went down to maybe a fire kill, or it was just 2 shots. It wasn't much at all there. Now, just seconds do separate our runners, as DLP316 now taking on the heavy boy. And no, that was actually 4. I think the fire kill was definitely faster there for sure. Now, TrueHyperMario going into the next world. What is it? I'm going to have to jump to 6. We'll go with 6 here now. And both of our runners are going to be looking into where can we use the rest of the hammers. Now, World 1 has come up, and a pretty vanilla World 1, actually. The only difference, of course, is where that fortress is. Instead of it being in its normal spot, it's in 1-5. So our runners will have to play at least 5 levels, I do believe, here. Yeah, as they go all the way around the S. So going to be a little bit of a longer World 1 here. A little bit of an interesting take. Normally World 1's a world where the runners can get a little bit of time back. But not this time. It's going to be a 5-level World 1 with a single fort that's really not going to matter, just because you have to play it is the only reason. It's not going to be route required. It's just going to be a nuisance. So would not surprise me at all if World 1's fortress was actually in World 1 this time, as that's a very good place for it to be. It doesn't block the path. It's just annoying. But DLP316 now into 2-5. Oh, clips a block there. Doesn't quite get the rest of the PT or the speed strat, but is still able to get through without any issue at all. TrueHyperMario about to find out what DLP did just moments ago, and that is that a star will be waiting him at the end of this level, and DLP316 starting the same level that TrueHyperMario is finishing. So, like I said, these guys are really good, and this is going to come down all the way, I think, to the end. But we'll have to wait and see, because obviously that's, you know, too soon to tell. The turtle hasn't fallen yet. It's way too soon to tell. But now TrueHyperMario taking a wing into World 1's Fortress. He said, hey, if I can't use this to my advantage, I might as well go for the item. Does so, gets a star. Not going to be hugely beneficial, but seems like that's definitely the flavor of the day when it comes to items here. Beautiful clip in World 1 Fortress by DLP, and that should set up a no, not quite. It was close, but not quite. Either way, still a very nice fight with Boom Boom, and we'll be going into 1-2 here in just a moment. So we have a French vanilla here, as it's in the right world, but the wrong place. DLP showing off just a little bit there. Unfortunately, the P-Speed strat's not quite working here. Too many fire snakes, too many problems. TrueHyperMario, once again with a star, because that's what we obviously needed, was a 5-star run. I think we're actually past that now, but I needed to joke to work. So anyway, TrueHyperMario now into World 3's airship. He has a star. He had the bit jump. He did not quite get all the way through it, though. So a very good try indeed to skip just a little bit of the part of that level. But either way, it does go down and around. No big deal. He is now into the fight with Larry. Oh! And a rare miss from TrueHyperMario. The wand came out quicker, I think, than he was expecting. And unfortunately, that is going to be a redo on the World 3 airship. Meanwhile, DLP has taken a slight lead as he is further into the airship than TrueHyperMario is. Still too close to call, though, obviously, as we've had several leadership changes in these first few minutes of this game. Now Larry has fallen after 2 shots, and that is DLP316 coming out of World 1 first. Another unfortunate glitch from TrueHyperMario. He has got to be feeling it now. This is a hard place to be as a runner, because you know you're better than this, and to fall to someone as silly as Larry is really difficult. This is going to be tough for him to come back from, but I sure hope to see it. All right, taking just a little bit of a breather there. The second Earthquakey has come out. That is 2 shots, and that is all for TrueHyperMario. So he is only about 30 seconds behind now as he does chase down DLP316, who is now in World 5. We'll see how this does play out. I don't see any real distinct advantage from either of these runners, but we'll see what happens here. I know that with some items, if you play them, if you get them in cards especially, and the other player doesn't, it could actually switch up the leadership again, especially if Cloud comes out. If you're able to find a Cloud, a Hammer Suit, whatever the case may be, and it comes all the way down to Bowser's fight, and if you have the right item, you have a better chance there. So we'll see if TrueHyperMario goes after a few items here in just a moment, as he does take another unfortunate death. Meanwhile, DLP has already moved into the other... Sorry about that. He has already moved into the other fortress and is on his way through to see if he can extend his lead here just a little bit. TrueHyperMario taking up a 1-up, and then unfortunately has too many things in his way as he tries to come back down through his jump. Definitely some work being put in here today by our Koopalines. Both of the Earthquakes up front and personal. Now, DLP is going to go after an in card. I think this was not intentional, but might as well make the best out of a bad... Okay, I guess it was intentional. Wanted to see what he could get. We still don't know what the anchors have done or will do. We've seen 2 come out for DLP there. I think at least one of those was in a letter. So, anchor will be interesting to see what happens there. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, And yeah, mushroom is a mushroom, so not a... Oh, it was a star. Okay. Well, that would have been a lot funnier if it was a mushroom, because randomize enough times and you're going to get the same thing. So, anyway. So, it looks like Star comes out for True Hyper Mario. Just needs to get through a level here real quick, see what happens. DLP316 taking a dive into the first pipe he sees, and no problems there at all. He has an extra hammer brother, but by the time he goes down and around, it would have taken a lot more time than this fight did. And wouldn't you know it, a cloud has come up. So a cloud going to be very useful in case 5-9 comes up, in case Atlantis, we've already seen 7-5. 5-9's a good one. 6-6, 6-9, any of those could be really good. Or 7-10, anybody? 7-9, something like that. So anyway, we've got some fun levels to choose from. We'll see if they do crop up for any of our runners, or for either of our runners tonight, I should say. And now DLP316, just 2 levels through until he gets out of the middle of this race so far. So coming out of the middle with a little bit of a lead will definitely help, but we'll see how much. You know, one bad choice could be all it takes, and True Hyper Mario has had some really good 50-50s so far. So if he can just get himself back into this, we could be looking at a really tight outcome, especially in World 8, which is the great equalizer for sure. So still a lot to happen. Neither runner out of this, so not even close, not even a chance. Okay, so we might have an anchor as a star, and mushroom might be mushroom. We'll have to come back to that, see if we can get some verification on it. Okay, DLP might be giving us the answer that we're looking for. He's got a 20 coins. He's got stars. He's got, wow, he's got a lot of pairs there. Okay, flower. He's got another one. Okay, so we got a few items. Let's see if we can get an idea here real quick. Oh, hammer suit. So we got a hammer, we got a flower, we got a hammer suit. Hammer suit in the in card. Very interesting. I think that might have been the flower, actually. I think that was his last pairing that he had gotten. So interesting stuff. That hammer suit going to come in handy for sure. And that cloud level, or that cloud, definitely on this back half, as he's got World 7 coming up, World 6 coming up, could be a huge factor as well. Flower is the suit. So interesting stuff. We'll see if that comes out for True Hyper Mario, if he's able to figure that out. Definitely a useful tool to have for sure. And there are 2 flower sets in those in-card games, so definitely chances to get that. That's definitely a good recommendation, but we'll see if they definitely do that or not. DLP now into his fight with Roy, and that is going to do it. He's going to go for the off-screen wand grab. That might do it. We'll see if he does get that here in just a moment. The guys on SpeedGaming doing a fantastic job of cropping, and we'll see if that is enough. It is, absolutely. So we had a perfect picture of that. True Hyper Mario deciding to go ahead and skip the Ice Capades. Not a terribly long level, but probably filling a little bit of heat here. Decides to go ahead and use it, go after a World 6 airship clip. Unfortunately does not land it, therefore he will have to go down and around, and did lose his fire flower. However, he does now have a tail, but unfortunately it does serve as a damage boost to get through the fire thrower. So now he is into his fight with Roy. DLP taking a little bit of damage there as well, but he is now on his way through. No problems there. Take a tail just for safe measure, and it never hurts to have in a randomizer. Just to be a little bit safer. No problems there at all. So now DLP taking his way cautiously through. True Hyper Mario finishing off World 5. He will be joining DLP316 here and seeing what lies ahead for our runners. DLP316 now moving on to World 6. We'll see if he does take the bottom route here, and that happens to be the waterfall. So one of our beta levels, it was in the code of the game, and our incredibly distinguished designers and developers were able to patch the code and grab all of it and take it and implemented into a randomizer that we know and love. So very excited to see it. Waterfall's not a terribly complicated level, very reminiscent of like 7-1, 7-6, some of those, and just really has a vertical waterfall theme, and no monsters were put into it, so we leave it like that. Takes just a little bit of time, but if you can mash the A button, you've basically got it. So TrueHyperMario now into his ending of his level. DLP316 just one ahead, and we'll see if the pipe game is going to help our runners today. Okay, looks like one bridge does have to be built. Okay, we've got a couple of fortresses directly in the middle. We'll see if either of those give us what we want. DLP316 with a rare miss. Very interesting. We'll see if that deters his ideas at all, or if he wants to continue on this path. Looks like he will be playing this level again, this time taking something with him. Looks like a mushroom. And, okay, going to be able to avoid the spiny top that time. And we'll see if he's able to get through without any further damage. Meanwhile, TrueHyperMario now doing his best to catch up. We'll see if he takes the pipe as well. Alright, so it looks like he will be going after a pipe. There is a level on the left side as well, so one of these two fortresses is going to be the one. 7F2 to start. Hey, why not? And if this is the one that's required, then obviously both runners will have to play it. And it looks like they will come from the same direction. So if one's required, then so be it. If not, I think they'll both have to play both. Yes, that is absolutely correct, the fake jester. They cannot watch the stream. And even if they did, there's enough of a discrepancy that they won't be able to really tell anything out of it. So, no, but out of the spirit of fairness, we prefer you don't. And I think it's actually in the rules too that you can't. So if you're caught doing that, we don't like it. We'll go with that. We think it's a poor representation of the game. So anyway, that's our take on it. Or that's my take on it. Sorry, the express written comments are from me, not anybody else. But yes, it is actually a rule. You cannot watch the stream, and just don't do it. It's a bad move. But enough of that about that. We are now into 7F1, which DLP316 had the right idea to go in with the tail, thinking, hey, there's a possibility if 7F2 was here, 7F1 could be. He was absolutely right. That is going to be the fastest way he could possibly get through it there. And Boom Boom is out of there. TrueHyperMario now working on 7F2. He has a star, using that to its utmost advantage. Oh, and a missed input will cost him a beautiful P-Speed strat that he was starting to push through. Unfortunately, okay. TrueHyperMario has decided to forget 7F2. He said, I don't need it. I'm going to go ahead and go back and figure out. He'll have to figure out that 7F1 is in fact the correct one. Maybe. I will have to wait and see. I don't actually know if we knew that. Okay, we'll have to wait and see if 7F1 actually is correct. There might have been a lock on the screen. We'll have to see if that's the right one for it. So DLP316 now working through World 7's airship. TrueHyperMario still working on 7F1. Both runners doing their absolute best, doing a very good job. Just keeping up with each other. I mean, within a level the entire game. That just really shows the level of these guys. Hopefully 7F1 is correct here. TrueHyper needs to be catching up here. And it's been just a little bit of a tough road for him. I'm a little surprised that the end card game has not come out more prevalent for TrueHyper. So might want to consider doing something like that for the second game, just to get that item advantage early. Okay, that lock did not break. So it is true that 7F1 was the correct one. Much to TrueHyper's excitement, I am sure he'll be able to burn through this and now be in World 6 as well with DLP, who is now in World 7. The Pipe Maze, the one and only, and 3 to start. This should be very interesting. Maybe we'll see if TrueHyper can go a more direct route and get himself into a better position to catch up to DLP. So hopefully hopefully we'll get a little bit of a catch up here. It looks like DLP has found the third island, so that is great news, but now he's just got to figure out, okay, what do I have to do first? And that is a piranha fight. We'll see if the fortress he's next to is the correct one. So a music box does come out for DLP. A little ironic that that's what he was looking for right before he went into that fight with the piranha, but should come in handy for the next one as soon as he does get there. So DLP looks like he will be going for no damage strat, but he does take up the fire flower. Okay, just kidding. He does go for a damage strat here, and we'll see if he goes for a clip. No clip, but he can pick up an item here if he so chooses. We'll see if he goes for the third. He does. It's a star, and he will take it very happily, because that is an orb on Boom Boom. So there you go. DLP now going back to see if that is in fact the golden ticket, and with the reaction that we've seen so far from TrueHyper, just knowing that I don't know that there was actually another fortress in World 7, so a pretty tame World 7 all in all. So the only fort it was, and that is going to be it for World 7. So now World 3 should be coming up next, and that's going to be interesting to see. It'll be a World 3 to World 7 to 3 to 8. So a couple of places where the hammers could have been useful in the very end. 6 actually was useful. TrueHyper was able to utilize that to his advantage. And yeah, so far it's been a really good race at this point. 28 minutes in, we now had Ludwig von Koopa, the Conductor of Chaos. The Calamity Koopa is now down for the count. So he is on his way to World 3, TLP is, and TrueHyper is going to be going for that Baroque kill as well, as he does take out Boom Boom, and will be moving on as quickly as possible to World 3's fight with Ludwig, or World 7's fight with easy for me to say, Ludwig von Koopa. So now DLP is going to be working into World 3. We'll see if there's a play here for the rocks. It looks like a slight one is available. If he does have 2 hammers, you might as well use it. You're not going to have another chance. We'll see if he does have those. A pipe right after means there could be a little bit of a heads up there, but very likely he will have to play a few more levels before he's able to actually do anything here. So hopefully a chance for TrueHyper to catch up just a little bit, give him a chance to make it a fight in the World 8. But there's some really long World 8s. You make one small oversight, one small miscalculation, and you end up playing a lot more than you need to, and that could be enough for your opponent to come in, and that's why we watch tournaments with Randomizer. It's a lot of fun, and it's a good time. So TrueHyper now taking a tail, wants just a little bit more added protection. And now DLP burning through 5F2, no big deal here. He's got the rhythm, he's got the rhyme. Come on, Boom Boom. TrueHyper now, we'll see if he does not use the music box. He will just go after the Piranha Plant. Maybe he wants to see if he can find himself a Hammer Brothers suit, or possibly a Cloud, something that can help push him through. Maybe here a little bit. It is not. It is also a music box. Unfortunately, that's not going to do much for TrueHyper coming into these next couple of worlds. But either way, he is now into the World 5 airship. We'll take a mushroom up front, and I'm sure he's happy to see that. A little bit of protection goes a long way in the randomizer. Now DLP is unfortunately taking some damage here. Okay, has decided to take an early exit here for some reason. Hitboxed on the side of TrueHyperMario. He was unfairly taken, or he unfairly took damage there, but thankfully still able to get through Ludwig von Koopa's fight without any further damage. Those hitboxes are incredibly frustrating. This is a game from the 80s, but it does have its limitations on technology. But what a great game still. I mean, still holding up for so many years afterwards. Incredible. So now DLP is doing his best to get through. He's got a star this time. He's looking like he's in good shape. And now True Hyper is going to be going into World 7 as well, most likely taking the exact same path for sure. $5-1 on the side of DLP316. He's got an up, he's got a down, and Koopa's falling from the sky, so that's always a good time. TrueHyperMario taking on the desert level, and he is now through, no problems at all, and hopefully able to catch up here just a little bit. A fortress there from DLP that he is not bothering with. There's a fortress also on the bottom left side. I think DLP just wants to know exactly what happens or how to get to Windy, and now he does have that answer. He didn't have to play anything else. He is now into the World 1's airship, where Windy does wait for him at the end. So Windy will be in just a little bit of a arena that's pretty flat. This actually should help as far as keeping the rings a little bit more, I guess, easier to figure out. So a little bit more predictable there for DLP, and he's able to take out Windy with 3 straight shots. Very vanilla. World 8 coming up next for DLP, and TrueHyperMario is going to be there just moments afterwards, I'm sure. So get your guesses in as far as how many bridges to Bowser you think will be there tonight. There's anywhere from -1 if you want to play like that, all the way to 4. -1, of course, being on the left side, so it's not a needed bridge, but it is still on the valley. So anywhere up to 4. 4 being incredibly rare. I think 3 is the most I've ever seen, but 4 is technically possible. I'm going to go with 2. I've got to join the crowd on this one. So obviously we're all going to be wrong now, but 2 I think would be my guess here. And 5-3 not going to be played by DLP. He is going to go ahead and take an early exit. He does not want to have to deal with a hand stage, but the curse continues, as we have seen so many times. Runners have runs upset because of a level that will not let them pass. And that is going to continue, and it's a streak for DLP. So thankfully he has enough lives at this point, but he is going to need them, unfortunately. Not able to take an early death there, so against your natural reaction. And all this time is going straight to True Hyper, who's able to catch up and utilize it to his advantage. So as we said before, World 8 is the great equalizer, and you are seeing it here in action live. These guys are brilliant, and something like this can very much affect the entire outcome of the run. So TrueHyperMario using all this time to get himself caught back up. Several minutes have already ticked down for DLP, and True Hyper looks like he's going to be playing one more level. That is the fortress. If it breaks the lock right next to him, he's good to go. If not, he will have to go back around, and I think just play the 6 here. There you go. You've got all access to the different fortress, or the different pipes there, and if you don't need to break anything else, don't do it. So TrueHyperMario, we'll see if he can avoid these Koopas here in just a moment. Playing very safe. That is a great call. Nicely done. He'll be moving on from 5-1 here and able to move on to the airship. Finally, DLP316 able to get through the World 2's Fortress 1. Sorry, I got caught up and ahead of myself there. So 2F1 does go down for DLP316. That is the first fortress, and he's finally out of 5-3, so thankfully that didn't hang on much longer, but several minutes did go by. TrueHyperMario now into the fight with Windy, and with it being a pretty vanilla run, he should have no issues there, as this is a pretty easy setup for Windy. So first goes down because of the star, and so far Windy is not putting up a fight. That is it for TrueHyperMario. Now into World 8, we'll see if the hand luck prevails and if he's able to get through a little bit quicker and straight into 2F1. This is anybody's game at this point. 8F1 for DLP316. We'll see if this is in fact the gatekeeper. We still don't know where Bowser is. It seems a little bit like see a level, play a level at this point. DLP316 is burning through World 8's fortress. I don't think he'll be able to go for the 1 cycle, so he decides to opt back real quick. Decides to go ahead and stop for a flower, and we'll see if he goes for a clip. He does not, but he will get down just in time for, well, a little bit sooner. But anyway, just in time for the escalator to start back up, and now 5 shots is all it takes for DLP to go down, for Boom Boom to go down for the night, and DLP to move on. TrueHyperMario now in his way for 2F1. He is not terribly far behind yet again. This has been such a tight race so far. TrueHyper milking every last bit of that star out to get himself into a better place here. And DLP finding once again another issue with the hand stage. So if this is going to be problematic, then DLP, okay, it looks like he's going to turn around and say, you know what, I'll deal with it later if I have to. So now more darkness comes around. DLP equipping a fire flower for the tanks that we now see. So this will be interesting. The super tanks is the one that has Boom Boom at the end and is not the actual level. So this will actually help out, and DLP may be able to utilize this to his advantage. So TrueHyper just trying to look for some things, get himself an idea of where he needs to go. So we'll see if there's a little bit of a diversion here. And we'll see if TrueHyper ends up taking another tank or another pipe possibility, and we'll see if he can get himself closer to Bowser's castle. So the tanks go down without too much of a fight for TrueHyper, and he'll be able to burn through the fight with Boom Boom here in just a moment. The first one always a little iffy, but then the next two usually go by pretty quick. 8-1 does come out now for DLP316, and he is going to have to play this cautiously. Thankful for the fire flower, I'm sure, but definitely not a gimme stage at all. So he is making very short work of this. A nice jump there. He does lose the fire flower at the end, but that is going to be the end of 8-1 for him. World 8's Fortress now down for the, or being currently played by TrueHyper. We'll see if he can get through in one cycle. It is one bridge. 2 pipes take you to Bowser's castle. 1 bridge is required. It looks like DLP says, you know what, I think I've got it, and wouldn't you know it, 3F2, once again the Guardian for Bowser's castle. So that is going to be one last fortress for DLP to play. TrueHyperMario has got to figure this out quickly. If he can, then that is going to take him to the end. But it looks like he is going to take the same path DLP did. So that will be most likely the end of this here in just a little bit. So TrueHyperMario now finishing his fight with Boom Boom from World 8's Fortress. That will be the end of it. DLP knows the way, and he is going to be back into the fight with Bowser here in just one moment. Indeed, it is a valid seed. 3F2 came out to play as the gatekeeper for World 8. So we are good to go here, and we will consider this one an unequivocal success. No clip there for DLP. He'll use a couple of hammers, try to keep himself safe. No big deal there. TrueHyper doing his best to figure out where he found the hand stage first. He'll have to go back there and play at least a fortress. A beautiful mac and cheese clip from DLP316. Absolutely the cheesiest. Very, very well played from DLP316. That'll be just moments until Bowser does fall, and we'll get you an official time as quickly as we can. TrueHyperMario now getting a 5-up. Not a terrible thing to have just to keep yourself safe until the end of the run. And he will be going after, okay, going to play both of them. 3F2 now up. He'll play this one. That is, in fact, the way to Bowser's Castle. So still extremely well fought on both sides from DLP and from TrueHyperMario. Extremely close races. And I'll be honest, this is going to be a complete hot take. Just seeing both of these guys. Both of these guys are very incredible runners. DLP taking to the chat, asking if someone out there can roll a fast seed. We both know the answer to that DLP316. That is not going to happen while I'm on the clock. Not anytime soon, anyway. Hopefully, because I want my money's worth, and the viewers do too. So they demand longer seeds, and I just have to do what I can. So if there's a problem with that, you can talk to the chat. But I'll have to roll one for Midi Guy then. Now we got TrueHyperMario taking a frog suit and a complete boss of a move. Unfortunately, the frog suit does not last long, but TrueHyper now going for a clip. Very nice. Top of the escalator clip. You'll love to see it. He'll be going for a couple more clips here. We'll see if this is the one run to rule them all. And be through Bowser's Castle here in just a moment. A good first run, honestly, truly a first good run. This is not an easy thing to do, especially being in a new tournament. This is the first race of the new tournament for him. He still can go 5-1 after this, and TrueHyperMario, a very great runner, would not surprise me at all. So we'll have to wait and see for sure how this does go next for the runner, and we'll see if he can shake off some of the rust and get started back up and ready to rock on the next one. So Bowser's Castle once again for TrueHyperMario. At this point, you got to get through it. And in fact, I believe this is also because of timing. So if you don't finish the seed, unfortunately, you do take a bit of a penalty there. I believe it's listed as 2 hours if you do not finish the race. So definitely still purposeful for finishing the race here. And honestly, for the mentality, you know, you want to make sure you've completed it, that you've done what you were supposed to do. You completed your race. So TrueHyper now doing his best to get through the lower level here. He'll take that star, try to use it to his advantage as best he can. The bottom level just not being very nice here with the fireballs. It looks like there's been a couple of issues that are just preventing him from moving on. A couple of really tight fireballs that are being very problematic, but hopefully this time he's got it. A little bit of a damage problem there. Oh, nice extended jump. He is just about through. No lasers. All right, we're clear. We'll see if here in just about 5 jumps we can get Bowser to fall through and the princess to be saved here. So the first jump is down. Thankful the second jump, no problems there, and hopefully no further issues. Okay, looks like that should do it. Now, TrueHyper directly underneath Bowser. There is no hitbox in the lower level of Bowser because they didn't make one. So you can stand underneath Bowser without taking any damage. And here in just a moment, we will have our final times for both of our runners. DLP316 finishing with a time of 40:18, and TrueHyperMario was taking up the rear with a time of 45:38. So those are the official times from race time, and excellently done for both runners. Definitely a lot going on here, but we have another race, so we'll get the rivalry going here in just a moment. Get your GGs in chat for the runners. Definitely go to give them a follow. very good runners, do a lot of SMB3 Randomizer, vanilla, a lot of speed runs. Don't go too far because we will be coming back here in just one moment with this next race, and we will be making sure that everybody's up and running and ready to go here in moments. We do have a little bit of a guest appearance here, as Teeks has decided to come into the chat and roll the next set of flags. So we do have the flags coming in. We've got Teeks who did roll them, so we got a guest celebrity appearance here. So our runners are getting ready to go here in just a moment. They are comparing the hash. This is a good time for us to go ahead and get the guesses in for what is the first world that we're going to see here. And if you're feeling extra gutsy, what is the first, or what is the order that we're going to be showing? Anywhere from 1 through 7, and then 8, of course, at the end. We've got some little bit of technical issues that we're dealing with. We're getting everybody set up here still, but we have a few differing opinions. Currently, one is that the hash will start with a 1, thereby making it a very good seed. We'll see if that rings true here in just a little bit. We've got DLP316 ready to go. He is looking to reclaim and continue his reign over the Group F stage so far. So currently undefeated at 3-0 over Group F, and a very solid Group F at that. These guys are all very good, and we're excited to watch all of them race. But we do have DLP316, the Bagler 5, TrueHyperMario, and Wake 911. So some very excellent runners that we do have here in Group F specifically, for sure, and just across the board. I mean, let's be frankly honest, there are a lot of really good runners in this tournament. 44 extremely good runners. I'm sure they could all beat me, and that is quite all right. I am perfectly happy being here, annoying you all with the commentary, because that's just how this works. So anyway, now we have our runner starting here about, I don't know, 10 seconds or once the stream catches up, we'll be on to the race. But get your guesses in at the very last chance to get your guesses in for the last, or for the world order. I'm going to go with 3. We'll see if we can get Wendy up front. The race has begun. We are going to be getting started here in just one moment. We'll see the screen sync up here in just a few seconds, and it is going to be getting started. So World 3 up first for me. We've got a 6427513. We've got evens, then odds. That could be interesting to see. We'll see if that's accurate. We've got reverse world order becoming a huge favorite in the chat as well. So we'll see if reverse world order, we'll see what happens. 7654321. And just like that, we will be getting started anytime now. And we are off. World 5 has started the run, and looks like a hand stage just to start off here. So very interesting to see. How this is going to affect the run here. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens next, because we do have the mushroom now coming out. That's going to be a great tool just to come back to whenever you need just a little bit of help, because you really can't speed run a randomizer. You just try to do it as best as you can. Sometimes you're going to take a damage boost, and that just happens. So you adapt, you improvise, you overcome, and you just do your best to get through the next level as fast as you can. And unfortunately, the star just out of reach for True Hyper, so he's going to have to do his best to not take any further damage here. He will not. Very nicely done. DLP just behind him as well. So these guys off to a breakneck speed. And the tower, interestingly enough, is going to come out to play. This could take our runners either directly to the right. In fact, it has to, actually, because otherwise well, no, that's not true. It could go to the top. So this could be very interesting. If this goes to the top, the runners may have to actually find the fortress, beat it, come back down, go across the bridge, and then play one of the two fortresses on the right side. We'll see if it's that complicated. So the tower for both of our runners at this point, True Hyper just about half a stage ahead, DLP316 catching up as quickly as he possibly can. And not even a half stage, I apologize. That was the same spot they were in. And that will be 5F1 coming up here very soon. Okay, so it will not take them, obviously, to the top, but the road is very clear. You have one fortress, you play it, you have one pipe on the other side, you go up. So if there's anything on the bottom that you want to get through, like Hammer Brothers or fortresses, do it before you go up, because that is going to be a huge time loss if you don't do that. So I like the idea of having a little bit of a strategy with more items, especially for Hammer Brothers suits, hammers, clouds, things like that that are going to be extremely useful. Even Fire Flower suits, sometimes those are extremely helpful. So Fire Brothers on the side of both of the runners, just having to wait a little bit for that Fire Brother to get into line, and he finally does. So no other Hammer Brother coming up for True Hyper or DLP. They'll both go into that top right spot. And just like that, a Jet World 5, as that is it. There is nothing more. World 3's airship comes out to play, and we'll have Roy in here today. So True Hyper taking a mushroom. Fire Flower for the side of DLP, and he has plenty of speed to get up and over. And we'll have to take a little bit of a smaller jump there, but he is still through no problems. Roy, several hits, but not that big of a deal. So pretty quick either way. And both of our runners are going to be in the sky at the same time. Get your guesses in for the next world. What is coming up next? So far, 5 is down. So what do you think? 6? That's where I'm going to go. We got a couple of guesses in chat so far. Get those in if you choose to. Both runners super close coming out of World 1. We'll see if Hyper Mario is able to get through this one a lot quicker. Looking good so far. So we just hope that he can, rise above and make sure that he gets through these real quickly and able to move on. And anywho, so DLP316 opting to not take the wing. He will go ahead and stay with the Fire Flower, and that is going to be very useful as he gets through all of these different complicated monsters, and no problem at all for True Hyper Mario either, as both runners nearly syncing up here as they go into the fortress for World 2. So World 2 in its vanilla spot, but obviously the levels are not in vanilla spots, and 3F1 comes up for True Hyper Mario and DLP316. We'll see if either of them go for a door 3 skip. Doesn't look like it, and just like that, DLP has eked ahead a little bit. Both have beautiful fights on Boom Boom, and now once again we are nearly synced up as both runners are making their way to the 2 panel, which is normally where that fortress would be. Neither one of them even given a second thought to the end card that would have just popped up after getting 80,000 points. The next one, of course, won't come up for another world or two, depending on which one comes up, as it will be 160,000 points for the next one. So the beta stage that's representative off of 1.5 is giving both of our runners a little bit of an issue, as True Hyper Mario has to play even more careful to not take any further damage, as that would mean a restart of the level, but thankfully able to pull through. And now they are going to be looking at that pipe. It will skip a level. DLP saying, no thanks, I'm not going to play the coin ship. And I do believe that, okay, True Hyper has decided to go ahead and play the level. Interestingly enough, if he can get a bit here, or a jump, maybe he could get further on, but I think he realizes, wait, I don't need to do this. I messed up. And that does mean he will need to go through the coin ship. But we'll see if that's actually a blessing in disguise, because if this is a good item, that's going to be very worth having. So you got to be a little bit careful. Ooh, Boomerang's just a little bit too close for comfort, and that will cost him. A little problematic going through a water level as Small Mario. We'll see if he takes a star here. It doesn't look like he will, but he does get a much more favorable arena, and that will be enough to get a cloud. So a bad set of circumstances leading up to a great outcome. So that cloud could be very helpful if 5-9 or one of the other terrifying levels does come out, such as the Atlantis or 7-5 or some of those. So we'll watch to see if that cloud advantage does come out to play. P-Wing on the side of DLP316. Now True Hyper into one of the better fortresses if you need some items. That is World 8, Fortress 1. Obviously, Bowser's got to make sure you're all stocked up for the big fight. He can't have you coming in a little half-baked, because that's just not going to be enough. You know, Bowser appears to enjoy the sport, I guess, of fighting Mario, but I digress. We've got True Hyper Mario burning through 8F1, and that is going to be a one-cycle 8F1. Very nice to see. That is not easy to do in the randomizer because of the way that the creatures do move around. So enemies aside, he is able to get through World 8 F1 very quickly, and now onto the World 5 airship here momentarily. DLP316 making short work of that. Very nicely done. Or I'm sorry, the World 4 Fortress airship. Anyhow, P-Wing on the side of True Hyper Mario, and he will be going into the 3-panel. DLP316 taking a mighty jump, and no off-screen one grab there. So he will be taking the short way down, or the long way down, I suppose. And he will be moving into World 3, which is what, chat? We've got World 5 and World 2 complete so far. Seems like a good time as any for World 1. True Hyper Mario just unfortunately mistiming that. Thought he was able to get over, but the Fire Snake was a problem. He will take the P-Wing, just has to get through this level. I don't blame him for this whatsoever. There will be more items, so True Hyper Mario just trying to do his best to get as much P strat as he can, or as much P speed anyway, because you may have the ability to fly, but that doesn't make you fast. So True Hyper now able to get through without any further issues there, and DLP taking on a coin ship. So he will be given an item here as well. That is a music box, not quite as fancy as the cloud that we saw just previously from True Hyper, but he's going to go for the P speed strat of flying over. So not a bad call here. Definitely helpful for getting through some of these trickier parts of the level, and will keep him safe from all harm. So now the fight is starting with Morton. I was almost about to get it wrong again, and I believe he was very light. So one hitter here. No idea if he was earthquaking or not. And True Hyper also jumping. So that's going to be a little bit longer, but not that big of a deal. World 6 comes out for DLP, and he is just doing his best to get through this as quickly as he can. He'll go through the fortress. That is the Army's tanks. And the super tanks have come out to play, so we will not see those in World 8 yet again. They have decided to venture out and explore new worlds, I suppose. So they made it as far as World 6. They must be doing all right. Well, nobody's perfect for True Hyper Mario, as the king is apparently very grateful to have been saved. But either way, True Hyper Mario now going to be burning through World 6 as quickly as he can. And we'll see if he can catch up here at all. It looks like a hammer could have been very useful here if he was able to grab one of those. Unfortunately, I don't know that that is actually an item in the game so far. I haven't seen it yet. But if Hyper Mario was able to get one of those, then that would have been a little bit quicker, I do believe, on World 6. So I digress either way. Okay, we'll see if this actually does anything for him. It does not. It goes to the rock. So I think I knew that. Anyway, I'm losing track of this World 6 because the locks are throwing me off. So if somebody wants to help me explain that, then go right ahead. Either way, World 6 is all locked up and is looking like a marathon for sure. And then to couple that with a marathon from the Hammer Brothers, that just makes it worse. So now we've got a 50-50 chance. 7F2 does come out first. We'll see if DLP decides to play it. It looks like he is going to. We'll see if he gets another better item here. Star will help him to be a little bit quicker as he doesn't have to worry so much about life or limb. And we'll see if that's enough to get through the end of this level. And it does. Very nice job from TLP. True Hyper now with a hammer. We'll see if he decides to go back and use it, as that could be okay. We'll see if there's a pipe at the end here. That could have been a huge advantage if he opted to do that. But of course, there'd be the question of if there was a bridge required or not. I see. Okay, good call from Chaos Wanderer. All 4 pipes were at the beginning, so nothing was actually useful in that regard. And good call, because we do have 2 fortresses here. So, oh my goodness, that is also a lock that is required from DLP. He's going to go ahead and equip the P-Wing, and once again, he is absolutely correct. 7F1 has come out to play, and this is an absolute marathon of a World 3. So the rolls do not disappoint this evening, as we have 2 runs that could feasibly go a lot longer. So DLP with a very heads-up play there gets through World 7F1. Super fast with that P-Wing, can't do it any quicker. 3 fortresses required in World 6. I mean, kind of, but not really. Maybe, I don't know. Well, no, I guess it wasn't, because the other lock is at the bottom left. So unfortunately, does play all 3, not required, but nonetheless, still. Okay, so 3-2 coming out for True Hyper, and that is a little dicey. But he's playing whack-a-mole, I believe, with the Cheap Chiefs down there. So DLP316 now out of World 3 after 13 minutes. A bit of a longer run for our runners. So we'll see if this continues on. We'll see what comes up next. 2, 5, 6 have been seen so far. Let's go with 4. Eventually it's going to be right. It has to be, I think. I do agree as well, though. Great roll, Teeks. This is very fun. Always a good time seeing our runners get stretched a little bit. DLP taking the first option here, which is to go to the right side. Won't play the level up first. Wants to see, oh, what can I find? And it looks like 4 pipes. Very interesting to see if this is going to be helpful at all. It looks like so far just a couple of dead ends. And True Hyper did pick the right one. Unfortunately, he did not have a tail, so he had to go down and around to find one for the Tanuki suit. But no matter, that is going to be enough. We'll see if he plays 7F1 or if he just avoids it altogether and sees what's up next. So that should be enough for True Hyper. Hopefully, he has the heads up to go through and not have to play another level. That would be a big help here, especially as he needs to be getting into the next world, and he will find that. So excellent job indeed as he takes on World 1's airship, and the Navy, or I'm sorry, the Air Force for DLP316 finally going down. A bit of a nightmare, one that you have to play very carefully, both on auto-scroller and without auto-scroller. So a tough level for sure. He's able to get through that very nicely and very cleanly. True Hyper now will be joining him into World 7 as well. This is anybody's match still, and I can't wait to see what happens, honestly. So DLP316 now at the end finally has what he wants, puts the Piranha to sleep, says, I don't need you, and it's time for DLP to move through World 7's airship, so very fitting. And on the right, we have a wild Tanuki appears. Command? I did not see what the item was there. It popped, or it went through super quick. 7-6 up on the side of True Hyper. We'll see if he can get the clip here very quickly. Not an easy thing to do with a Tanuki suit. Hopefully he can get it here in just moments. One shot for DLP on the Ludwig von Koopa, and that is it. He'll be moving on to a super quick World 7. Now get your guesses in chat what you think the next one is. We've got 1 and 3 so far. 4 and I believe that's it. So 1, 3, and 4 are the last that we have. True Hyper starting, I'm sure, to get frustrated here as he does go into 7-6, and he will take an early exit out. So I think he knows that there's maybe another way here, and that will do it as he exits the level, and we'll see what other options he has. Once again, another long World 1. I don't know how we did it, but we managed to get 2 seeds that were 5 level long World 1s. So very interesting indeed. And now our runners just trying to make sense of where they want to go next. We've got DLP going through 2-1, and we've got True Hyper now starting the Air Force, and he'll be able to burn through this hopefully very quickly as he needs to get going onto World 5 as DLP is. But not much time left in World 5 as this is one of the last levels there, and he will be getting caught up. I'm sorry, World 7, which is actually World 4 right now. And he should be getting into World 5 here in just the next couple minutes, I would think. So DLP316 just trying to be careful here. He is going to get through no problems at all. And now we'll see if True Hyper is able to continue on here and find the path that he needs to take. So not much longer for this world, and moving on here quickly. So 2-4 has come up for DLP. This is a bit of a painful level if you don't have a tail where you can just fly up and around, essentially. So a much quicker route, but the Hammer Brothers, very unfortunate. We'll get to you at times, and it did happen with the Fire Brother suit this time. So unfortunate, but DLP now able to move along, and we'll see if he takes an item. He does not. And once again, World 1's Fortress. So a pretty identical seed. I can vouch that we did change these up behind the scenes, but we're seeing a lot of similarities. That's interesting. Either way, we got TrueHyperMario now trying to make sense of this World 7, figure out exactly where he needs to go in that regard. Meanwhile, DLP making short work of World 1, and we'll be going to the next world here within just a couple minutes. So able to utilize the star, keep himself safe, keep himself going quick, and he'll be finishing this one off here quickly. H-jump, more like H-flight, and taking a block along just for reasons, because, you know, that guy didn't need to be standing there anymore. Now True Hyper going through World 7's airship, doing it a little bit carefully as he does need to be on the safe side. No further damage is needed here as he does need to get caught up and needs to be going a lot quicker. So True Hyper now onto his fight in moments, and we'll be looking to follow into World 1 as DLP316 will be leaving. So get your guesses in one last time for what the next world is. We've got 3 and we've got 4. The 2 middle, well, close to middle ones were left till the very end. World 3, I know there are some hammers in play. I think I saw 2 on the side of DLP. So he may have a play on the hammers here. We'll see if that actually does come out. TrueHyperMario now is on his way into World 1. DLP316 onto the next world. We'll have to wait and see what it is here in just a moment. And unfortunately, because hammers do not break locks, that does mean True Hyper has to go all the way around. Hammer Brothers suit is the anchor. We'll see if he's able to get another one of these, because that is a high-powered item. And unfortunately, it's not easy to keep that all the way till the end. So we'll see if he's able to get another one. And World 4 it is. So now the Fortress comes out to play on the left-hand side. DLP is going to go ahead and play it because he doesn't want to have to come back. At worst, there's going to be another Fortress on the mainland. If it's a 50-50, you don't want to have to go all the way back through rocks. So a good safe play here from DLP. and that is going to be World 2's Fortress, whereas TrueHyperMario is going to be going through and finishing us off real quick. So far able to hang on to the Hammer Brothers suit. We'll see if he's able to keep it all the way till the end. That would sure be cool. And hopefully means that he's going extremely quick because he's not getting caught up by anything. So here's for hoping. We'll see if it's a little bit of an excitement, not something that we normally see. Man, I spoke too soon. Very sorry about that. In card comes up for DLP. He's going to be looking for maybe another option here. And okay, looks like he's not actually going to play it. It was just in his way. So 80,000 points. He says, no thanks, I'm good. So a hand stage does come out, and I believe it was a music box. No, it was a mushroom. So a mushroom will come out for DLP316, and TrueHyper will be doing his best to get caught up here. And we'll do the P-Speed strat as well. We'll see if the H-jump comes out. It does. Very nicely done. Oh! Unfortunately, that spiky guy did not stay out, and that is going to be the end of it for TrueHyper. DLP finding out what the anchor does, and that is, of course, the Hammer Brothers suit that we just saw from TrueHyper. So Hammer Brothers suits have both come out for both of our runners. Unless another one comes out to play, that may be a little bit of a costly mistake, but at some point you just have to know. So, you know, I can't fault them for it. It's a risk, and they decided to go for it. So it is what it is. Now TrueHyper is going to be taking the fight to Larry. Not many shots here, and that will be the end of it for Larry. I completely lied. There was like 5. My bad. So Larry came up to play, and I apologize. Yes, Iggy was absolutely beefy. Okay, so we've got a bridge built so far, and a Hammer Brother fight with a Boomerang Brother. So Tanuki suit comes out, and DLP able to hang on to that Hammer Brother suit just a little bit longer. The bridge has been built. The coin ship comes out to play, and now DLP has one more thing he has to do before he can move on from World 4. Either way, TrueHyper now through World 5 as well, and he's going to be moving into World 6 in moments. So, of course, the world starts with a fortress. Might as well play it. DLP with another hammer. That's fortunate, I suppose. And he is going to be into World 6's airship, which is actually World 2's airship. So, welcome to Randomizer. DLP316 able to utilize a tail there and get over the center mast, which is a bit of a time save. You don't have to go down and around, especially with those boxes. You have to go in the direct column. So it's able for, he's able to get through that very quickly. Very nicely done. Now into World 7. If you want to get your guesses in one last time, I'll give you a hint. It's 3. So DLP is on his way to World 3. TrueHyper with just another level that he has to play. We'll see if he goes after any of the in-card game. He will not. He also has opted to go ahead and get rid of the in-card game as fast as possible, and will be moving along to his next level as quickly as he can. Yes, and I apologize. I obviously spoiled it for everyone. I'm terribly sorry if you were expecting something else. Then I apparently ruined it for you. So now DLP utilizing the tail to keep himself safe. They're barely missing a disco ball at the end, but they all lead to Boom Boom at the very end, and that's going to be 3 shots to take down the Fortress Barrier. Does that work? Fortress I don't know. I'll come up with something. So anyway, Boom Boom goes down without a fight, and now it looks like the double hammer play is coming out. You might as well. You've got the resources. Might as well do it, and that is going to open up a wide open Windy. So still looking pretty jet here so far. Yes, we will accept World 8 or. Wow, I can't read. World square root of 9 would also suffice. That I would accept that. So Windy is now into a fight with DLP and doesn't want to go down easily. That's going to be a lot of shots on a beefy Windy. Was that the whole Baconator? I think that was the full combo package and a drink of choice at that point. True Hyper Mario takes down the Boomerang Brothers, no problem, and is awarded a hammer. So I expect to see a hammer play from True Hyper as well as he gets into World 3 in moments. So a World 2 airship. He'll be going for as much P speed as he can. Unfortunately, doesn't get the bit jump, and he will have to go the long way around. But still not taking too much time at all. And World 8 now up for DLP316. We'll see if any of the hand levels do give DLP an issue yet again. If so, thankfully he does have 10 lives that he can work with. And Go for a Clip does not get it, so he's going to go down and around, find himself an item, and maybe see if it's another star here. So it is not, it's a tail. That's going to keep him safe going across that little expanse. And Boom Boom will be up here in just moments. True Hyper is on his way into World 7 as well. Alright, so the first fortress is down. We'll see if the Navy is going to get played. Looks like DLP has opted to go ahead and take on 6F2, which is the Frozen Fortress of Solitude. He will be given a tail where he will be able to fly underneath and keep himself safe up until just about the middle of the levels. So now the rest of the Peach strats come out, and that will be the end of the level, the fortress, I should say, with DLP, and into the fight with Boom Boom. Also fighting a Boom Boom is True Hyper Mario, who has finished off his fortress no problem. The hammer plate does come out. Might as well, if you've got him, use them. And there should be the fight with Wendy here in just a moment. So excellent heads-up play from True Hyper Mario to also identify and find that. And DLP's got to find the spot here first. Or, okay, so it looks like we have a lock right before the tanks. We'll see if that one's actually required. If not, then that could be a bit of a time loss depending on how a runner decides to do that. So right now it looks like DLP is opting to go for Where's Bowser? And looks like he's only going after the pipes at the moment. So we'll see if he continues this on. Looks like he will. There is a stage and then a level there. So that could be a little bit of time. Okay, looks like another level. We've seen a couple of pipes here so far. DLP just trying to map this out in his head, figure out where he wants to go. Still doesn't know exactly where Bowser is. Okay, looks like we've got a level. It is going to be 7-9. And he will take a Fire Flower for his efforts. And I believe with the, well, both with the Goomba here and the Angry Sun, there could be a possibility of a little bit of memory delay. So we'll see if that affects him at all here. Well, a little bit of damage, so that is no problem as he's able to utilize that to his advantage. 6F3 comes out for True Hyper Mario, and he's going to be taking a damage boost as well. See if he can get himself into a fight with Boom Boom a lot quicker. DLP through 7-9, no big deal, just a huge time waste. And True Hyper now into his fight with Boom Boom. Three should do it, and that will be the end of it. So he is now into World 8 and onto his first fortress as well. We'll see if there's any divergence in the fortresses, and we'll see if he's able to get caught up here at all. 6F2, he is now going to utilize the wing as well. Very common strat for these excellent runners. And he is going to take a star. We'll see if that's going to help him at all. Should keep him safe from all harm until he gets to the fight with Boom Boom. But will not be able to get an orb out of that. And that is quite all right. So very nicely done. 3F2 down for DLP316. Once again, 3F2 inside of World 8. So we have another vanilla, or another legitimate run. And that should do it. Okay, so the tanks are now open. We'll see if that is a requirement for DLP and see if he does go around and get it. I am very curious to see where World 8's Bowser Castle is. Because at this point, okay, it looks like DLP is going to go after the fortress. It is 5F2. So DLP with a P-Wing that I don't think he wanted. Okay, so he will go ahead and take a damage boost and be able to utilize the P-Speed strats for the rest of this level. And very nicely done indeed. True Hyper now doing his best to get caught up here and figure out what it is that DLP already knows. Through the pipes they go. True Hyper following very closely to what DLP was doing, just working like mad to figure out where the fortress is. That is actually going to open up the lock in the middle of the dark room, which should take DLP up to a pipe either in the top right or top left side. There it is. And now he will be taken to Bowser's Castle, where there shouldn't be anything in his way. One tank to the left, but that, of course, is going to be a regular level and a Tanuki suit for DLP. So looks like he's going to go ahead and take the Tanuki into the castle as a little bit of added protection there. So World 8's castle does come down to this. A much quicker seed, as DLP is currently looking at about a 32-minute run, depending on how the clips and stuff go. So far so good. 7-9 up on the side of True Hyper, and still doing a fantastic job of just keeping into it. DLP opting to not take a star. Don't blame him. He's going to go for the mac and cheese clip. We'll see if he can get it one of these times. This is going to be a little bit of a longer fight, but still, the mac and cheese clip goes down. DLP does now have a fight with Bowser where he has to jump 5 times. Bouncing off the head, because hey, why not? And there's the first jump. True Hyper Mario figuring out that he needs the Air Force, and that is going to be 3F2. And he will be taking that and seeing what he can do with it here in moments. So that, of course, will open up the lock for the other fortress, which he, of course, will have to play. So with that, we are going to see DLP finish this off in just a moment. And we'll see True Hyper not too far behind him. Definitely a World 8 of Nightmares. That was an extremely linear World 8. It seemed like the World 8 had fortresses that were blocking fortresses, and you just had to play all of them. So definitely went in favor of DLP. So congratulations to DLP, coming in with a time of 32:59. Very well played. Get your GGs in chat for sure. We've got DLP now 4-0. His last 2 games left are with the Bagler 5, and we are anxious to see, of course, what happens there. For True Hyper Mario, he still has, well, wait, 9-11 and Bagler 5 as well, or Bagler 5. So definitely a lot to go still. The top 2 will go if there's a tiebreaker. There's a few ways that we're going to settle that. So it may even come down to a 1-game play. Winner goes to the brackets, and the loser will go to the Challenge Cup, which still has a lot of really good talent in as well. Last year's had a couple of really fantastic runners who I'm sure are going to want to be getting into that higher up spot as well. But with that, we are joined by DLP316. Congratulations. A very excellent run for sure, and we really enjoyed seeing you play. It looked like Teeks was able to swoop in and get you guys a race that was a little bit quicker, as you were able to come in at 33 minutes. So very nicely done. GG. I think we're having a few technical difficulties, not quite able to hear you, DLP. But now with that, True Hyper Mario is into World 8's castle and is going to go as a Tanuki as well. Abu, being an absolute nuisance, is going to cause True Hyper to take some damage there and then fall down into a disco ball. So Mushroom comes out for True Hyper. and we'll see if he's able to get through it this time. A little bit of a problem with the lasers. Thankfully, able to get through it, no problems at all. And we'll see if he goes for the escalator.
Hello.
Hey, welcome and congratulations.
Hey, thanks. Glad to see you back on the call.
It's good to be here. I had to get a part of the 2022 series, and what a great race to be a part of. You guys both fought really hard all the way up until the end for sure. And great matches. What did you think?
The first one was long, which apparently I'm getting all long races today until Teeks came in and saved the day. Normally he rules abominations, but this one was pretty good. Shout outs to green splits. I think up until this race I had only 3 or 4, so yeah. First seed was kind of long. Made a couple mistakes with routing. I took a death on purpose after using a cloud because I forgot I used one. But the second seed, I think I pretty much routed how it needed to be. I didn't play any end cards, so I'm not sure if anything in there helped. So, but other than that, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was the anchor this time had the Hammer Brothers suit, which you both found out early. But either way, I mean, just excellently played for sure.
Yeah, thank you.
And with that, we do have TrueHyperMario finishing as well at a time of exactly 37 minutes. So GG's all around for sure. And DLP, you've got the Bagler 5 coming up next. What do you think?
I think it's going to be a tough match. I think my group is pretty tough overall. Wake was pretty good for his first race yesterday, and then TrueHyper and Bagler are both vanilla speedrunners, so you can never really take them for granted because they know how to play the game. It's just, I don't know how much they practice, but I think it's going to be pretty close. I'm assuming these races were pretty close despite the time, so yeah, it should be a good one. I think we're playing tomorrow at 7, so.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's absolutely how it was. You guys, all the way up until like World 5 or World 6, were within just a couple of levels the entire time. I mean, there was a lot of going back and forth there in both races. And it was, I think, just one of those things where the randomizer kind of caught up, and it did what randomizers do, and that's sometimes infuriating, but no, a great race all around from both of you guys. I think the Bagler is going to be a really tough one, but should be another great race as well. You put on a clinic here today, so well done.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think they're going to be really close races. So, sort of looking forward to it. I'm getting the, difficult opponents in group, so I think that can really only help as long as I play well and everything. I think if I win one more, that pretty much puts me automatically in. So that's really all my focus is, just taking 1 out of 2 tomorrow. If I can take 2, then that'll be great. But I know it's going to be tough, so I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, and definitely looking forward to seeing that as well. I mean, a fine match for sure, not one that you're going to want to miss, because DLP, a fantastic runner, and Bagler on the side of vanilla, like you said, is just incredible as well. So going to be interesting to see for sure. I mean, there's a lot of speed involved in this, and if you know the speed strats the entire way through, I mean, that's just going to help. So very exciting to see for sure.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm going to take off. Thank you again for getting back on the comms. I'm looking forward to watching it, and SpeedGaming for the race, and the organizers for putting it on. So thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.
Absolutely. And with that, we will say goodnight for now. We have some more races coming up tomorrow. And all this week, we're going to be having a ton of different races and stuff. So tomorrow night, we've got on the 3rd, Ryko Rider versus Nobly the Foreign, and DLP316 versus the Bagler. That is going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern. You don't want to miss it. That's going to be an extremely good run. Then we've got several more coming in on June 4th from 12 and 3 and then 10 p.m. And then all day on the 5th, we've got several at 3, several at 5, or 1 at 5, 1 at 6. So there's plenty of SMB3 Randomizer to go around. We're going to have a ton of races and games as we get going through this tournament and everything. So be around, be here for that. On behalf of the Super Mario Brothers 3 Randomizer Tournament, we want to say thank you for being here today and for joining us. To SpeedGaming for helping and hosting and putting on everything and being wonderful. Seriously, go check them out. They're amazing. And for now, from all of us at the SMB3 Randomizer Tournament, this is DLP316, TrueHyperMario, and Brawl saying goodnight and be safe. Until next time, keep randomizing, keep racing. Take care.